Welcome, Carm Capriato, the Service Aftermarkets Podcast Pioneer, with the gold standard of aftermarket business podcasts. Join me for Aftermarket Insights as we advance the aftermarket. And as always, know that you'll learn just one thing. Find us on your favorite podcast listening app and remarkableresults.biz or on my YouTube channel. Hey everybody, Carm Capriato, Remarkable Results Radio. Good to have you here as always. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be, and we sure do hope that you love all the stuff that we do for you each and every week. We added a new show to the Aftermarket Radio Network this week, the Craig O'Neill's Effective Communications Podcast. I think you're going to love it. Passionate guy about getting the word out, through, and in, if you kind of all know what I mean. I'm with my friend Tom Sciortino. Hello, Tom.
Hey, good morning, Carm.
Local Western New York shop owner from Tonawanda, New York, Total Automotive. Doesn't live far away from me. Been on the show a bunch of times, Tom. I had Tracy do this research in all of these darn shows, and we've done shows on your computer getting hacked. Okay, are you over that?
One of the low points.
Yeah. Well, we did one on selling batteries, synthetic oil services. You helped my daughter change her oil. We did alignments when you got your ADAS calibration. If you'd love to see that episode when Tom got it and he gave us a tour of his new ADAS equipment. And then we did one on allies. I mean, forming a group, in town of independents that meet each and every month. Honored to be there for so many years and part of this great group. And that's the Independent Professional Auto Service of Western New York group. So that's kind of a cool thing. Anyway, Tom just recently went through a peer review. I got the luxury of it, hanging out there, me and daughter Tracy. And I just wanted to bring Tom on and say, hey, ask him a few questions about it. But anyway, I got my AAPEX Joe's Garage shirt on here. Tracy and I will be there with studio and some other things that we're doing. And we'd love to have you stop by. We're usually located directly across from Joe's Garage. So, Tom, a peer review, the Gears Performance Group 3.
Yep, it was an interesting experience to go through.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. We've done shows on this in the past, but this is recent, and it really was a monumental thing. And since I know Tom, he says, Carm, I'm fixing this and my showroom that and my ceiling here. And I'm watching him join a coaching organization, get in a peer group, and started to fix up his place. And him and I both have gray hair. So the point is, I guess, is it's never too late.
It is never too late. And sometimes it takes some of us a little longer to get involved. But once we do, we go in full bore.
You hard-headed. Never mind. I'm fine. You're in for a 3-day group here in Buffalo. You're doing a ton of great things inside of this group. And then there's the night before the peer review. Did you get any sleep?
Because I had a good team behind me, we were prepared, as much as you possibly could. I actually was not having any anxiety over it at all. I looked forward to it.
Would you have done all the things in your business had this not happened?
Oh, absolutely not. And absolutely not. No.
Think of the listener out there. Oh, Tom, you could have been on your boat, Tom. Tom, why did you spend all the money? When you look back retrospectively, saying you wouldn't have done it, but look at where you are today. Look at the performance of your business and the attitude of your people.
You know what? It's an evolution. It really is. When I got involved with the group about 15, 16 months ago, I would have never imagined the transformation in my business 15 months later. It's kind of everybody says, oh, I don't have the money to spend. Well, you know what? I was just talking with somebody the other day. The money for the coaching group, I made up in the first month or two in increased productivity and profit. When it came to preparing, and it was funny how it all happened. John Waffler was my coach when I first started. Now I'm with Aaron, but we were at the very first group meeting that I had ever attended, and I was only 3 months in the group, and he looked over at me and he said, next July is you. And terror went through me, but I had a year to prepare. And in some cases, it takes a year to prepare. In hindsight, if you follow the group process and you do what's expected of you, the money is second nature, because the money, I had all the money and increased profits.
Yeah.
Everything I did.
It's not second nature as much as it's there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's there. And so the idea is, so you knew that you were selected, but you've been part of other peer reviews. So you've got this experience and picking up the phone and talking to people, which is what these peer groups are beautiful about. And you've got an individual who you and him or her are connected at the hip as far as, working with each other.
Yep, we have our partner, which we could work with and bounce ideas off. I'm fortunate to have John from Bison Fleet Service here in Buffalo, who is part of the group, and we're very close. So I was able to talk to him about preparing. But the biggest thing was I'd been able to be through 3 peer reviews before mine. So
As a observer and as a helper, right? Okay.
yeah,
All right.
and what it did is it prepared me for all the things I didn't want to do at my peer review.
You didn't want to happen to you, you mean?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And when I said, it was a team effort. When I came back from that very first meeting, we had our shop meeting and I told the team exactly what was going to happen and shared it with them and got them to buy into the process. And once I had my team buying into the process, they were excited about it. Everybody participated, everybody got on board, and they're the ones that made it happen. I just guided the ship.
Well, my takeaway, and again, I don't remember if I heard it from you or other people, it was when we got there and all these teams broken down and they were all looking at different segments and elements of the business. It was this: Tom did so much work on the front side of our visit that we could go deeper instead of, getting stuck on all the highlights. God, you got to do this, you got to do this. Oh, that's done, that's done. And they went deeper. So I think the value that you got from this peer review was even bigger and better than it could have been.
Yeah, I had talked to Aaron, the coach, quite a bit about I wanted to eliminate the low hanging fruit. I didn't
Yeah.
want people pointing out I need a sign over the fire extinguisher. I need to clean things up. I wanted them to look deeper into my business so that I could find the things that I don't see on a regular basis. With doing that preparation ahead of time, it allowed them to do that. Actually, I had some comments that they really had to look to, have
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
to improve me on. You know what? It was very beneficial, and I think it all paid off. The work paid off in the long run.
I'm so happy for you. I guess part of the reason that I want to do this episode is not only to share this, which is, I think, just 3 weeks old and it's just still fresh in your mind. And Tracy and I had a chance to be at your peer review and observe how it was working in this particular case with Gear Performance Group 3. The reason that we're doing this episode is for other people to say, well, I never have to worry about a peer review, so I'm not going to do any of that stuff. Put the sign over here and do all this compliance stuff and try to get a little better work environment, bring in my customers, clean up the weeds on my cracks in my driveway and all this stuff that you did. There's nothing. My point is that running a great business shouldn't preclude the fact that because I'm not in a peer group. My point is take these lessons from Tom and just do it.
There's so many simple things you can do that improve your business. Paint, just paint. All right. Paint, clean up, get rid of this stuff. If you haven't used it in 3, 4 months, throw it out. Just get rid of it, clean it up. One of the biggest things that I did, I took advantage of a grant program to improve the lighting in the shop. And let me tell you, it changed the overall mood and tone in the shop for the technicians, just having better lighting in the shop. I've had customers that walk in the door and go, oh my God, you cleaned up, you remodeled, you changed things. Customers notice the little things that go on. Anything you can do to change the look and clean up your business, in the long run, it pays off. It really does pay off in the long run. Customers notice that type of stuff.
If you're a shop owner and you say, we really need to do some of these things, and it starts with paint, as an example, Tom, go and buy a gallon of white paint. Go to your favorite store, come back, have your morning huddle meeting, and put the paint on a table in the center of the room and have everyone go and pick it up. And the whole exercise is, does anyone know how much a gallon of paint weighs? And they all pick it up and they all guess. And you, as the leader of the meeting, already know. And you tell them, I don't know, it's got to be maybe 10. Let's just assume it's 10 pounds. They say, well, boss, what the hell? What was the reason for doing this? Oh, well, now what we're going to do is everyone's got a chance to carry that gallon of paint around the shop and tell me where you think we could put it. Okay. It's kind of, if you will, a metaphor for a cleanup, fix up. It just doesn't start as we're going to paint this place. Nah, buy-in.
And that was it. I mean, so when we started the process a year ago, Chris is my manager, we walked around with a pad of paper, clipboard. We literally walked the whole shop and made a list of probably 30, 40 things that had to be done. And that list stayed on my desk for a year. And as we got things done, we crossed the stuff off the list. But that buy-in got him involved. I also took Chris to the group meeting in last November, and he came back a changed person, a changed employee, where he then started to take the lead on a lot of things that he hadn't before. It goes back to, you have to get your staff to buy into it. And once they buy into the process, and they're all in, it's easy from there.
AAPEX 2024, one of the best industry training and expo events, is now in the record books. Joe's Garage at AAPEX brought the best and the brightest together to create an interactive experience like no other. The concentration on emerging technology was cutting edge, along with the latest in tools and equipment that bring efficiencies to your shop, which is another reason to attend AAPEX. There were more than 60 training sessions for technical, business management, and HR. You participated in the EV Experience stage at Joe's Garage along with ADAS technology. If you did not attend, I bet you wished you had. AAPEX created specialty sections to make it super easy to find your area of interest, like the tire service section, tools and equipment, the diagnostics telematics shop, and of course the EV Experience. New in 2024 was the student competition on an engine build, and features inside of Joe's Garage were from Autel, BG Products, NAPA, Hunter Engineering, Bosch, Repairify Coats, and Solid Start, among others. Mark your calendar for AAPEX 2025, November 4th through the 6th in Las Vegas. Listen here to learn about exciting events planned for 2025 and when you can start registering. Hey, let's face it, your shop management system is the single most important tool in your shop, period. NAPA Trax has made selecting the right shop management system easy by offering the industry's best, most comprehensive SMS. Now, it all starts when a local representative meets with you to learn about your business and how you need to run it. After all, it's your shop, so it's your choice, and having local representation is a huge plus. Customizing Trax to your business, whether you're a one-person shop or a large multi-bay or multi-location company, a representative consults with you to help optimize your shop's workflow, efficiency, and profitability. Trax always has the flexibility to do business how you need to do it, which means it can also grow as your business grows. And unlike the other guys, will be there for you after installation with the best training and support in the business. Yes, a learning management system tailored to each role in your company. Simply put, Trax was designed and built for shop owners just like you. Visit us on the web at NAPA Trax, that's NAPATRACS.com. Hey, ever wonder how your labor rate compares to your market and state? You now have a site where you can confidentially upload your rate and see other labor rates published in your market. LaborRateTracker.com is an important site to know about. Currently, the database has over 1,000 shops participating and growing every day. But there's more to setting your rates than finding out what others charge. You should look at the labor rates in your state and town to gain a complete picture of the labor rate landscape. Hey, it's easy. Get market intelligence like never before at LaborRateTracker.com. I'm hearing a lot about that either a successor or a GM, a manager, a son, a daughter are being taken to these conferences. It's enough to say that you got to do the heavy lift alone. But if you get buy-in and a partner in, doing the things that you want to advance your business, there's just nothing like that.
Absolutely.
So accountability to me, in my mind, is a key to peer reviews because you've got to be able to answer. Let me just set the scenario. Tom gets his review. They discuss it. They break into teams. They go to his place. They look around. They come back. They formulate their presentation. They present. And then Tom goes home and doesn't sleep the night before because he's up deciding, and tell me if I'm right or wrong on this, what he really wants to take from this. And then the next day you present the changes that you're going to make. Is that how it works?
Yep. And we take notes during the presentations, and that's on Wednesday afternoon. And then Friday morning, bright and early, first thing, we present a report of, I think I had somewhere between 30 and 35 items on the list. And we discuss them. This can happen, this can't happen. And we're held accountable to make those changes. And so in November, when I go to the next meeting, I have to do a PowerPoint presentation to the group of what I've done from their suggestions. They'll hold me accountable. If there's something on that list that was really important that I don't do, they'll hold me accountable for it, which is good.
How's it feel?
I think it's great. You know what? When I started this process and I had my first meeting with my staff, I said, I've been in business 38 years. I've never had a boss. Now I have a boss. I have somebody that I'm accountable to for the first time in 38 years. That's an adjustment. Some people adjust to it better than others, but I've adjusted to it. And now through that mentoring process, it's done nothing but good things for my business.
Yeah, we've been hearing much lately. Tracy and I were just discussing this last night. Don't tell me how to run my business.
Yeah.
And we're hearing more and more of that. Now, we know that there's a whole bunch of reasons why someone may want to say that.
Get out of your own way, because in most cases, you're the only person that's standing in the way of your business. Get out of your own way. Take advice. Take criticism. It's a good thing.
You can grow when you open yourself a little bit. And again, it goes back to, everyone continues to say it over and over again. If I didn't put my ego on the shelf and get over who I was, and that, oh my God, I've been in business 38 years, don't tell me. And all of a sudden you found the highest peak on Everest from all different perspectives in your life: a better leader, more profit, more customers, a cleaner, better shop, a magnet for people who want to come to work for you. And if you could go down that list as an individual who has the ego, who says, don't tell me how to run my shop, and you could evaluate yourself in all those categories and you get an A everywhere, then God bless you. You're perfect. Yep. But it's tough to get to be perfect, Tom.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody.
Yeah.
Even though I think I am, but
yeah, I know. Oh my God.
Carm, I don't know if you were there for it, but I did want to talk about the surprise that was pulled on me.
Go ahead, tell me. Maybe I was or wasn't there.
So any of the peer reviews that I've been to, they had never done this. And in the middle of the meeting, before we entered the shop or went to the shop, they made 2 phone calls to my business.
All right. Stop right there. Yes, I was there. And yes, I felt for you. And yes, I think that should be part of every peer review. The learning that came out of that. And really, I didn't want to ask you about that, but since you brought it up, Tom, to our listener, this is just off the charts. Go ahead.
If you don't record your phone calls, you need to do that. That's step number 1. But both Aaron made a phone call to my shop before we entered the shop and acted like a customer. I'll be right up front with it. We identified that we need to do some phone training.
Let me set the scene. The entire group is there. It's in the form of a big U. He gets the phone out, puts it on speaker, and calls in, hoping that on this one call he'd get employee X. And then he said, well, you got another service advisor on the counter. I'll call back again. Hopefully I get this next person. And lucky enough, someone was looking over you, and both answered different times. And he set up a scenario, and we listened to how your people handled the call.
Yep. And we're in the middle of a very busy season. So our schedule is about 8 to 10 days out, which, is, a double-edged sword. But at this phone call, my service writers did not pursue getting an appointment because we were busy. I was able to identify a huge training opportunity on how to manage the schedule, how to manage converting a phone call to an appointment, and working with the customer to get them to become a customer if they're a new customer. Yeah, it was a great experience to go through. I wish we could have handled it better, but you know what? Take every negative with a positive.
Yeah, that was gutsy on your part to let it happen. And the learning curve. Oh, by the way, post call, did you sit down with your people?
We have sat down actually Thursday. We're going to play those calls. I have a meeting with them Thursday, and we're going to go in depth on those calls. But we talked about the schedule. We talked about getting the appointments, and we're working towards actually being able to relieve some of the pressure on the schedule with some changes we're going to make in the near future.
Cool. Is this going to be your biggest fix or improvement, do you think?
So I think just training the front end is an ongoing fix and improvement. We're looking, one of the things that came out of the peer review is I need another service writer and I need another technician. So we're making those changes now, hopefully get those done in the third quarter here.
So what was your biggest takeaway? I mean, set that aside. Is anything else in the physical plant? And yeah, okay, I got to hire a couple of people. We got to work on the front. What else?
We're going to elevate one of our technicians to a lead. We need a lead in the back shop. As we've grown, there's been a little disconnect between the front and the back. So we're working on the communication so that workload is handled better by identifying a lead in the back. Also, we've gotten big into mentoring. Most days of the week, I have either an intern or a student in the shop. So identifying a lead and mentor is going to be a big part of that. Just getting the overall operation to grow.
Yeah. Let me make a comment on the intern. Tom and I are both involved in our local community college advisory board. He's been pro education and working with students and getting him involved in education. And so he's a big proponent of that. And I just wanted to give you high fives for all that you did. So what did your team say when everybody walked away and they left? Were they go, how did we do, Tom? Or what did they say?
I got some text messages and some phone calls right after, and they were all interested to know how we did. And you talk about big takeaways. My big takeaway came from my team, really. Every single person on the staff evaluation team came back to the meeting and said, not in the same time, but every staff member said that they're part of the family. We've been able to establish a really, really good culture that everybody feels like they're part of the family. They can come in and talk to us about anything. We'll help when we can help. And my wife is a big part of that. She's part of establishing the culture. There'll be days that I'll walk in and there'll be somebody, one of the staff members sitting in the office, just having a personal conversation with my wife. And, she's just an ear to listen at that point. But I was really taken back by the way the staff thinks of my wife and I as far as creating that family atmosphere.
Yeah, your wife Ann, great lady. I actually spent some time after they were done with her and they did the review in the office. She came out and we just hung out and watched what was going on. She's a great lady. Okay, the improvements that you made beforehand, knowing you and then being at the college and the IPAS meetings, and Tom and I, a lot of times sitting next to each other during that early morning breakfast meeting. What are you doing now? I'm getting ready to do the ceiling. I'm doing the lights. And he says, did you hire out for a lot of this stuff? No, I'm doing it myself. So, I mean, we talk about energy and what you put into this. You got to be so proud of not only did you invest money in the building, but you did your own sweat equity like you did all those years.
You know what? It's something I love. I love to do the painting, the repairs. It's almost a hobby for me.
Cathartic. It's cathartic. Oh my
Yeah,
God. I don't want to diagnose a vehicle anymore. Just let me paint.
yeah. So I actually looked forward to doing it. I love to do that type of stuff. Rather than working on the business, I was working in the business on the business. So,
That's good. I love that.
but I had fun doing it. My wife took a big part in it. We went to the Allentown Art Festival and bought all kinds of art to put up on the walls. So, made those improvements. So we supported some local businesses in the process. It was a good thing.
Next time, just ask me. I'm really good with spray cans. I could have made a really nice op art thing for you. Okay. Next. Thank you so much for sharing this. Any final thoughts? Because, the whole idea of telling this story is to motivate other people. Number one, prepare them for their own peer reviews, but to maybe motivate people to get involved in coaching. And if not, just pull together a network. There's no secrets out there.
You know what? You get out what you put in. And that was the biggest thing. I was all in. My wife will tell you that when I get something in my mind, I just go for it and get it done. Definitely, you don't need to be part of a group. You don't need to be, motivated by a coach or somebody hanging something over your head that they're coming in to review you. Just do it. Just look at your business, stand outside, look at the outside of the building, stand in your office, look around, stand in the shop, look around. Believe it or not, if you take the time to look, you'll find things that should be done. Ask your customers, ask your staff. I went around and asked the staff, hey, what should we do to make this better? They'll shoot ideas to you.
Yeah.
Make sure that you do that and it'll all come together.
You're so right. We can do this on our own, but we find that so many don't. And there's a rare breed that are at a point where they have to step up. The beauty of coaching and peer groups is that you get on a team, you get inside of a group of common directed people. Sometimes you don't even need the facilitator for everyone to push the group forward. And it's one of the things that I love about peer groups is that the ideas keep coming and then you formulate and evaluate. And I've always said this, you can steal Tom's greatest idea on this. And once you bring it inside of your business and your culture with your people and your marketplace, it doesn't become Tom's anymore. It becomes yours.
Yeah. And you got to understand when you're part of a group, you're sitting in a room with some of the best shops in the country. Take their advice. They've been through it. They've done it. It breeds a better environment if you're around those people.
Love that. Hey, thank you for spending some time. It's early morning for us because I sure didn't want Tom not to be at work today. Tom Sciortino, Total Automotive, Tonawanda, New York, talking about his peer review. Thank you for your humbleness and honesty. Thanks, man.
No problem, man. Thanks.